So in today's class, we'll be discussing file upload and file download. Post that, we'll be seeing how you can handle cookies, which comes as a part of response, and headers. These are also a part of response. File upload, download, handling response cookies, and headers. See, when you try to upload a file, internally, a call is triggered in the backend, right? That's what we learned whenever we are discussing this file upload and download in Postman. The same we have seen, right? Let me show you one more time. I'm taking this I love PDF, so which is a famous site for working with the PDFs. So what you can merge PDF, compress, so anything you can do. So I'll select a PDF file. Before selecting that, so what I will do, I'll try to open this networks tab. So every call, whatever you perform on the UI, with those actions, a call will be generated in the backend, right? So observe here, I'll be uploading any of the file. So let me take downloads. This is what some dummy file which I am taking. So just I'll click on open. So you can see there is a call happened in the backend, right? There is a call happened in the backend. So upload, this is one call, and this is another call also, right? So this is what an API request URL post method it is, right? What is the payload? So payload is the name of the file, and this is converted to some byte data, right? So binary data, file binary data. So once you upload the file, that server is storing that file with some encoding that is generated by that server, right? So once it is uploaded, he'll be able to see this screen. So what you need to understand, when we upload a file, it can be single file or it can be multiple file through a web UI. This is what a web UI, right? An API is triggered in the backend. In the background, an API is triggered. This API receives the file from which? From the client, and sends the same file to the server. Then server acknowledges with some response. Acknowledges in the sense that server is saying, hey, you uploaded the file, I have stored the file in my storage. Good. When you download a file, your browser asks the server, which is your client. This is your client, right? So your client will ask the server for a specific file. If the file is ready, then server will say okay, right? Then it will send us that file to the browser with some simple message, right? As a content disposition message that tells the browser, so this is a file to save. So browser, what it will do, it will open the file in the browser itself, or it will open a dialog to save the file. You can save the file or you can open the file. These are the two scenarios. So internally, for downloading or for uploading, an API call is triggered. API call is triggered. So today, instead of using the UI, which is a client, which is a browser, what we will do, we'll take an API, we'll try to trigger the call. We have seen the same thing in the Postman, file upload and download, right? Uploading a single file, this is what an request URL. So downloading a file, this is what an request URL, which it is generated upon uploading a file. Uploading multiple files, right? We have taken another site also, Internet Heroku file download. So we have also seen this. So what I will do, I will take my own API, because it is very hard to find publicly available APIs. So what we have done, we have created a jar file, which it is used to handle this file upload and file download scenario similar to real time. So I'll be taking that, I'll be making you understand how you can write a code step by step. That what you have done in Postman, right? So first thing, you need to download a jar file. I'll be giving you this link. You can just keep this link for future purposes. this file, uh, which is a jar file, REST API jar, which is a Spring Boot application. Spring Boot application which will simulate same file upload and download scenarios. I have kept it in GitHub, so you can go to this link. It is a public link. You can access that and you can click on this download. So once it is downloaded, a jar file will be downloaded. So what you can do, go to PyCharm, create a folder. In that folder, place that jar file. Today is day 5. I have created day 5 directory, or it can be a package also if it is required. Keep that file in this location. When we are learning this Postman, what we have done, we have kept that jar file in some location in C drive. We have gone to command prompt and we have executed a simple command, java-jar file upload -rest API .jar. But here you don't need to open the command prompt explicitly. PyCharm is having a very beautiful support of this terminal, which is nothing but a command prompt. So you can execute each and every command from this terminal itself. So in the day 5, keep that, go to terminal, go to the location where you have kept this file, or directly without going with this root or parent directory also, you can try to execute that. But to make it very easy, go to that directory. Right now you are in API testing request. Go to the directory where you have kept this file. Which file it is REST API .jar. It is in day 5. But I am here API testing requests. So how you can change cd command, cd day 5, specify the location. That's it. So it will go to that location. In this location, you have the file. Right. So you need to execute a command. So what command you need to execute? Since it is a Java file, first prerequisite is you need to have Java installed in your local machine. Right? Java installed in local machine. So very important point it is. Very important point it is. You need to install Java. We have already installed. When we are working with Postman, we have seen the steps how you can install. That is more than enough. Since it is a Spring Boot, which is a Java application, so you need a Java to execute this jar file. So java-jar, uh, right? So you need to use jar. Why? It is in Java archive, web archive. Like this, different types of files will be there. So var, web archive, jar, Java archive, right? So you need to specify the file name. So what is that file name? File hyphen upload hyphen REST API dot jar. Is it right? File hyphen upload hyphen REST API dot jar. So click on enter. So once you click on enter, you can see it is running that application in the backend. Don't close this application, just minimize this. Don't close the terminal, just minimize the terminal. Now to access this application in the browser, you need to open this URL. So what is that? HTTP :/localhost. You can specify IP address or simply localhost also is fine. Localhost, and which port by default it is working. By default it will work in 8080 port. That what I configured in this jar file in this Spring Boot application. See, the same port is used by Jenkins also. The same port is used by Jenkins also. So in that case, if you have an active process running on this port, if you are if you are executing this command, right? So this is what a command which we have executed. You will not be able to run this application. So what you need to do, you need to kill the process in this port, or without killing also, you can try to specify the port, right? So suppose if you want to run on a specific port, not on this port, because this port is using by another application. So you can specify the port also. --, server dot port 8081. The same command, but you are ordering to run this application in this port. Why? because already port 8080 is used by Jenkins, right? So you are asking to run it on 8081 port. So in my case, I have killed that process. How I have killed? It is running this Jenkins in this port. I have killed that. So how I have killed that? First, I have checked whether is there any process running on the port, right? So netstat hyphen aon pipe symbol it is find str. So it is like a grep in Linux. In Windows operating system, it is find str. So 8080 to check if the port 8080 is in use. If it is in use, what you are ordering to kill that process, because I want to use that port for another process. When you execute this command, it will give the process id. So that process id you can use it here to kill that process running on this port. This is one thing. Instead of avoiding this headache, you can also specify another port. So in my case, I have gone to the default port, which is 8080, which I have already killed Jenkins process using this port. In your case, if you want, you can do these steps, or you can directly go for this. Right? This is how you need to run this jar file, java-jar file upload rest API .jar. So once it is open, once it is executed in the terminal, go to any browser, open that file, open that URL. That's it. Observe here, you'll be able to open this URL and you'll be able to see this UI. Uploading a single file, uploading multiple files, right? Let us see, we'll upload a single file, whether any API is triggered in the backend or not. We'll upload multiple files. Let us see whether an API is triggered in the backend or not. I'll also open this network tab. I'll click on this choose file. So I'll try to choose this file. So you can see there is no call happened in the backend. When I click on submit, a call will be happened in the backend. Right, observe here, upload file. From the client, it is taking the file. It is uploading the file, right? So this is what a request URL, post request it is. These are response headers, request headers, right? Request headers you have. So these are auto generated. So payload file is a binary and this is a form data, right? So we can see that view source, right? So what is that file? So this is what a file name, and it is encoded to binary application slash PDF content type, meme type it is automatically set by the server, right? So based on the type of the file which you are using, based on the type of media which you are trying to use, right? So it is binary data, so form data it is it right? The same here we have done. When you are uploading a single file, so in the body, instead of selecting any of the options, we have selected this form data. We have specified the key as file and we specified that file, and we have selected this file, right? That was the only thing which we had on form data. But in RestAssured, you don't have this headache. We'll see another way, right? So in request module also, request module and in RestAssured, you have different way to handle this, right? So form data it is sending, so it is able to upload the file, so the server is acknowledging with some response, right? Suppose if you want to download the file, this is what an URL which it is given. Since I'm running this application in my local machine, it needs to store the file in my local machine only, right? So where it will store, it will automatically create a file folder, right? So go to this PC, C drive, uploads. This is what a folder which will automatically create. This jar file is configured in such a way that dynamically when you upload a file, create uploads folder. In the uploads folder, have the file. So I have previously uploaded this also. So you are able to see this along with this file. Just now we have uploaded. From where it is uploaded, from where you can get the file. So that is what a download URL, which it is giving as a part of response. File type application slash PDF. So everything in a detailed way it is giving. The same scenarios you can see in any application also. Just now we have seen production grade application. What is that? Which is ILO PDF. It can be Nokari, it can be founded. So whatever the applications which deal with files, if they're handling file upload and file download scenarios, internally an API will be triggered in the backend. Right? In that way, server will respond. Right? So let us try to upload a single file, and it can be multiple files also. The same way, an API will be triggered in the backend. The files are stored as a byte data. Binary means byte. Right? So we'll try to send the file in byte data or in binary data. We'll try to see that. So what I'll do, I'll try to go to PyCharm. I'll try to create a module. Test underscore file upload download. You need to follow proper naming conventions. Right? I'll import a request module. If you want to work with APIs, blindly install this request module. I'll create a class test file upload download. So inside a class, what I will do, I'll try to define class variables. If you see the previous sessions, test authentication or auth2 authentication, so everything, if I required, I defined at a global level. So in this example, I'll show you another dimension. Instead of using these global variables, you can also define class variables. Right? So what I will do, I'll try to take this base URL. So base URL is common for any of this scenario, file upload, single file upload, so multiple file uploads. So I'll try to define base URL as a class variable. Class variable, you have instance variables, you have global variables, you have local variables, you have multiple concepts. We are trying to learn everything. We are covering everything here. So base URL, this is what a class variable. So inside a class, outside of the test method, I did not created any test method, but outside of the test method, I'm creating this variable. So what type of variable it is? Class variable, right? So I will also define two more variables which will hold the files which I'm going to use. Right? Observe here in the C drive, I have already created a folder automation files. So in this folder, I have test1.txt, test2.txt. So I'll try to use these files for uploading. I'll try to define this as a variables. These are also class variables. In the C drive, automation files, test1.txt, test2.txt. Right? So I'll try to define a method, test upload single file. Upload single file. It is a method inside a class. You should have self as a mandatory parameter. Function defined inside a class, it is called as a method. Method should have this self as a mandatory parameter. Good. So what I need to do, you have observed here, when I upload a file, a request is sent in the backend along with the post method. Right? Let us see one more time. You need to properly observe this. Upon observation only, you can write the code efficiently. So I'll click on choose file. Again, I'll try to take the same file, or you can take any another file also. So click on open, click on submit, right? So this is what a call happened. When you go to headers, this is what a request to URL. This is base URL. This is what an endpoint. So base URL I have already defined. So I need to define this base URL along with endpoint to upload a single file. And what type of method it is? Post method. So what type of payload you need to send? Form data. Form data. So very important here. Try to observe how I am writing. So first thing, request dot post. Good. So since base URL is already defined, you need to append that with slash upload single file, which is an endpoint, right? So you can see that here, upload file. So I'll be going to use a string formatting. String formatting. Observe here. So F, this is string formatting. So F strings I'm going for. You have the base URL in this variable stored. So what type of variable it is? Class variable. To access class variable inside a test method, you need to use self dot base URL, self dot base URL. So since it is a variable, you need to keep that variable inside curly braces because you are using that variable inside a string. So you need to go for string formatting. All right, this base URL should be appended with slash upload file, right? Slash upload file. So you need to keep that. Step by step we are learning. So this is what an full request URL, base underscore URL. Base URL it will be appended with this endpoint slash upload file. Good. Now you need to send form data. Is it right? So payload here, which is a request payload, it is saying that a form data, right? So there is one important information here. In request module, there is no separate parameter form data. Very important point. Very, very important point. In request module, you don't have form data as a parameter as like you see in this Postman also, right? Observe here, request.post. When I go to this, quarks, keyword arguments, data, JSON, and keyword arguments. So these keyword arguments, if you see the proper documentation of this post request, you won't be having form data. You won't be having form data. So instead of that, what you need to do, you need to use files, right? So you need to use files, right? Files equal to, you need to specify the file. That's it. Instead of form data, you need to specify the files. Files is what a parameter. If you are uploading single file, specify single file in key and value pair. If it is multiple file, specify multiple files here. So what I will do, to this files parameter, I'll try to upload a file. I'll try to specify this file upon opening first. Why? You can directly specify the location of the file here, but it is not able to accept. Why? What is the reason? If I specify file1 here, so this file1 in the sense what it is a class variable which is storing the location, which it is a string, only string. But in this test1.txt, I want the data. Any type of file it is, at the end of the day, data matters. That data you need to send. The data you need to send. Now tell me, when we are handling this file handling session in Python, we learned clearly to handle files, first you need to open the file, perform the operation like reading, writing, and close the file for saving. Is it right? The same you need to repeat here. The same you need to repeat here. Observe how I'll be doing that. So to open and close the file, you can go for different ways, but I'll go for best strategy, which is with the statement, which is a context manager. I'll try to open the file with open of which file I need to open in this case, single file upload. I'll discuss with file1. So self dot file1, right? Since it is a class variable, you need to access that by using self or class name. I'm using this self dot file1. You are trying to open this file in R mode. Is it right? Very important thing here. But instead of R, I'll specify RB. Why? Hey Madan, when we are handling these text files, you said that you need to open this in R mode, nothing but read mode. If you are working with binary files, you need to append that, you need to suffix B to the mode. Is it right? That's what you taught me. But why you are using this RB? Very good question it is. Tell me, when you are uploading the file, what type of file it is, any type of file it is. At the end of that, the payload is uploaded in binary. Is it right? So the same scenario you need to replicate. So if you open the file, it can be text file in this RB mode. Whatever the data in this file which you have, that will be converted to binary. That will be converted to binary. So it can be PDF also, it can be Excel also, right? So if you specify R, it will return me a string data, but this API will not handle string data. It will only handle this binary data. Not only in this scenario, any scenario which you take. Just now we have seen I love PDF also. There the data is also a binary data. So you need to convert what are the string data which you have to binary data. That automatic conversion is helpful with this mode only. So RB mode. This to this object I'll give as another name which is file. Right? Now what I will do, I'll define another variable. I'll define a key. What is that? File and the file which I opened. That's it. Is it right? The same thing you see here. File and the file which I opened. So when you try to upload the file in the Postman, the file which you see here, the name, but internally it is converted to binary data. You won't be able to see that since it is a tool. The same here you are trying to simulate. File is what a key and the file, right? For a single file. So I'll be using these files which I'm storing in this variable. That's it. Files equal to files. I'm using the same name so that you may not be able to confuse. If you want, you can use another reference name also. Right? So upload file it is. If it is multiple files, you need to open multiple files. And you need to pass those files in key value pairs. Right? We'll be seeing that. So upon sending this request, it will give me some response. I'll store that in some variable. So response dot status code, right? So I'll try to check the status code is 200 or not. So in this case, I need to change the status code as 200 because this is an API at the time of creating this API. So I have specified 200 as a status code, but generally when you use post request, it should be 201. One careful observation here. If it is not, so upload failed, right? So upload failed. So this is what an assertion assert response dot status code equal to 200. You are just doing some validation. I'll also capture entire JSON response. So response dot JSON, right? So entire JSON response I'll capture in some variable which is data, right? So I'll also print that data. So print of data. So if the data is having any another values, I'll try to get those information also, right? So let us execute this. I'll try to delete everything in this uploads folder, right? I'll delete this because internally it will create a folder, right? In this folder, I won't have anything at this point of time. I'm executing this method. So one test failed. Why? So it is saying that, so value error. So read of the closer file. So observe here, guys. Very important information it is. When you open with context manager, when you perform any action on the file, automatically that file will be closed. Is it right? If that file is closed outside of this with the statement, you won't be able to access that file. Is it right? So here I have defined outside of this with the statement. Request.post, I'm using these files with this operation. If with the statement is automatically closing that file upon performing an operation, can I access outside of this with the statement? No. So what you need to do, you need to modify this. You need to keep this request. So inside this with the statement only, then only you'll be able to use that files. So very important observation it is. So that's what it is saying. So read of closer file. That file is already closed, but you are going to read that because I defined this outside of this with the statement. So that error it is rising, right? So observe here one more time we'll execute and we don't have any file here. Now observe it is passed, right? And this is what a response which it is giving, right? It should give me the same response which you see here, right? Observe here. this response. Is it giving me the same response? File test1.txt, file download URI, file type is none, right? File type is none. Since it is not having that meme type, it is giving me none. If it is PDF, it should give me this application slash PDF as a file type. Along with that, size is 71. All right. So it is giving me these details, the same details you are able to see here. Right? Is it giving me the response? Yes, it is giving me the response. Download URL also it is giving from where I need to download. If I use this, I can download the file. Right? This is a single file upload. Right? And also we'll do one more assertion. So this is what a file which you have uploaded, which is test1.txt. I will check whether we have the same file name here or not. Right? Another important assertion. So this is what an entire dictionary. From the dictionary, if you want to extract any specific value, you can go for key, specifying the key in the dictionary. So what I will do, I'll try to get that value of the key. So response, which is data, data of key. What is that key? File name. Key name you need to specify. If file name equal to test1.txt. This is also another important validation. Is it right? So if it is not equal, so wrong file name. Write this assertion error. Wrong file name. Wrong file name. So I'll do this assertion. So assert data of file name equal to test1.txt. Data is entire JSON response, which is a dictionary. From the dictionary, I'm extracting a value for a specific key. I'm checking whether it is equal to the same file which I uploaded or not. Let us execute this one more time. You can see here it is already uploaded. So I'll try to remove this. Let us execute this one more time. So you can see it is also passed. The same file name it is there, which I've uploaded. So this assertion also passed. So this is how you can upload a single file. Now let us see how you can upload multiple files. The same code, upload multiple files. Multiple files. So in this case, tell me, I need to open two files. Is it right? File 1 and file 2. So how I'll be opening, observe here. This is F1 I'll give object name, comma, open self dot file 2 as F2, another file object. So I'll try to define this in the form of a list. Observe here, guys. Very important thing it is. Very important thing. So this is one file, right? So files it is. And what is that? It is F1. F1 it is. Is it right? Here I am using this file. Why? Single file. Go to Postman. Observe here. If it is single file. If it is multiple files, right? So if it is multiple files, go to the body. You can see files key I'm using. Files key I'm using. The same thing you need to replicate here also, step by step. So files, comma F1 in the form of a tuple you need to send, comma, another tuple files and F2 because two files you are trying to upload, right? So upload multiple files. Request dot post, the same variable here, files equal to files 1, files both the files which you are sending in the form of a list of tuples, both the files. And is this the same endpoint? No, you need to change that endpoint. Let us see that. So upload multiple files. I'll go to the same location where I kept these two files. I'll copy this, click on open. So two files, click on submit. So upload multiple files. So what is an endpoint? So upload multiple files is what an endpoint. Base URL is common. upload multiple files. So multiple files you are trying to open in the RB mode, which will return me a binary data. The same files I'm trying to upload. This is what is syntax. You need to follow this proper syntax, right? So if it is uploaded, right? So it should give me 200 as a status code, but generally post it is 201. I coded in such a way it is giving me 200. So I can also modify this, right? So payload, so two files binary. So files. Is it at two times? Files. Did I entered here? Yes. So similarly, preview this is and response. It is giving me this response, right? So I will do the same thing here. So I'll remove this assertion. If it is required, I'll add. So I'll try to delete these two files in the uploads folder. Again, I'll try to execute this. Run multiple files. So it is also passed. It is giving me this response. Right. So list of objects. This is one object with respect to file 1. This is another object with respect to file 2. File name test1.txt, file name test2.txt, file download URL it is. Right. So this is the download URL for file 2. Right. And the size is it is also giving to me. Right. Suppose if you use another file instead of txt, if you use docs, if you use PDF, you can also see the same response. Right. And you can go to the location in the uploads. You can see test1.txt, test2.txt. They have uploaded just now. Good. So once we understand this scenario also, let us understand how you can download a file. So you can see when you upload the file, it is automatically giving me this download URL. So I need this URL. So to download the file, right? So I'll try to show you how you can download. So before going to see that, this is very important information. Once you open the file, try to get the file as a parameter within that width only. Otherwise, it won't be able to get those files, right? So very important thing it is. Very important point. Otherwise, if you are not able to use this with, if you don't want to use this with at all, what you can do, you can explicitly open the file, you can explicitly close the file. To avoid those, best thing in an industry which we will use is with a statement, right? With context manager, right? So now let us see another scenario, file download. So define test underscore download file, right? So download file. So what I will do, I'll try to specify this request URL, so which we have seen just now, right? Let me execute this. So it is file download, it is not still completed. So file upload multiple files. So it is executing this. So file download. So I'll try to go for this. It is, yeah, it is not able to, let me comment this. It is taking that. So yeah, now it is passed and this is what a response. And this is what a file download URI, request URL it is. So you can combine that request URL with the base URL with a slash download file and file name. So the same I'll try to replicate here. So observe, I'll try to define file name. So what is that file? So test1.txt. Is it right? I'll go for first file, test1.txt. Right. So I'll try to define a request. So I'll try to take the same request. I'll try to modify, right? Request to dot get. Is it right? Instead of post, you need to use get. Base URL is common, but you need to use this download file as an endpoint. Download file as an endpoint. Good. So capital F it is. You need to be very careful, and you need to use which file you need to download. I have already defined. I'm going to use this file name, so which is test1.txt. That's it. You don't need any parameters. Get, that's it. It will give me the response. All right. So we can store that in some variable. response, you can do assertion. Assert response dot status code equal to 200. Otherwise, wrong status code. Right? Wrong status code. Some simple assertion. I'm just doing it here. Right? So I'll try to send this request. I'll try to download the file. Right? You can also do some simple assertions. Right? So you can open the file in a specific location. You can try to check whether in that location the file is uploaded or not. So in this case, I'm not going to do everything, only few things. I'm just making you understand. Right? So let me send this request. Yes, it is passed. And let us try to refresh this. So it is not yet downloaded here. So we'll see test1.txt download file. Right. So this is what an request URL and the file name self.base URL. Right. Good. So we'll do one more thing also. So we'll define a few important parameters. So I'll try to define output folder. So output path. So downloaded underscore file name. So this is what an path, guys. I'm opening that output path in the write mode. Whatever the response which I got as a part of downloading. So I'll try to write that to this output path location. Right. So downloaded underscore file name it is. So downloaded test1.txt. Right. I'm writing entire content to the file which I'm creating. So let us execute this one more time. So yeah, now you can see downloaded test1.txt. So if it is PDF, instead of txt, you can specify PDF. If it is docs, docx. If it is Excel file, XLSX. So you need to specify that type. All right. So this is how you can download the file. This configuration is required. This request will give you the response. That response you are storing in a specific location. That location is a file, another file it is downloaded test1.txt. So very important uh, function here, right? You are doing opening that file and trying to write the content which you downloaded as a part of this response. You can see response.content. It will give me entire response in this file. So open that file, you can see I have specified some dummy data. So welcome to Python, welcome to Selenium, welcome to Selenium with the Python, right? So the same data you'll be able to see here. This is how you can handle this scenario also. Test upload single file, multiple files, and download file, right? Now let us understand how you can try to handle these cookies. First of all, tell me cookie, what is a cookie? A cookie is a small piece of information sent to a computer so that it will recognize the user and his favorites. Right? Every time when you open any of the websites, it will ask for accept cookies. Why? To recognize the user. Based on the past actions, next time when you log into the same system, it will try to show you some recommendations to recognize the user, right? So we need these cookies. So these cookies you can get as a part of response also along with headers. Headers are key value pairs. So we need to know how you can handle these cookies and headers. So I'll take google.com, so which is very easy to make you understand this concept. So you can see here, I'll go to this, I'll also open this inspect tab. If it is required, I'll see the calls, what is happening in the backend. So www.google.com. I'll try to open that. Right. So it is opening this google.com. Good. Let us see query. And you don't have any call happen. That is absolutely fine. Right. So yeah, there is a call happen. So headers, this is, and you can see here, this is what a request URL get method. So status code, remote address it is. So address of the host machine. Right. And you can see response headers. These are response headers, right? You also have cookies, set cookie, right? Server, so report to lot of cookies are also there, and request headers also. Request headers are automatically generated. You don't have control on that. Only a specific meme type, which is by using content type. That what you can specify. Other all somewhat auto-generated. So you can see in the headers, you can have these cookies and headers also. We'll try to handle this. We'll try to take this google.com. I'll try to take this request URL, the same URL, and I'll use this get method, right? So I'll try to create another module, which is test underscore cookies, right? Test underscore cookies. So what I'll do, I'll try to import a request. First and foremost thing, you need to import a request. I'll create a class test cookies. Test cookies. So inside this class, I'll try to create a method test underscore cookies in response. Cookies in a response. Is it that you'll get the cookies in response? So you need to handle them. So I'll try to use a URL, which is a request URL. What is that? Google.com. I'll be using this, right? So I'll try to send the request with get method. So request dot get, I'll try to use this URL, right? So since it is a local variable, I'm accessing that directly. If it is a class variable, you need to use self or class name. Right? Don't forget that. So request dot get, I'm sending the request. It will give me some response. I'm storing in this variable. I'll try to do some simple assertion at the very beginning. Response dot status code equal to 200. Is it right? Is it giving me the same status code? Yes. If it is not, wrong status code, right? Some simple message you can print it in the assertion, right? So assertion error you can raise, wrong status code. I'll also check in a cookie whether you have a specific cookie or not. If it is available, check whether it is not having any data or not, right? So before that, I'll try to print all the cookies, right? So how you can print all the cookies? Response, right? So response dot cookies. This is a function which will return all the cookies in the response, right? So I'm storing all the cookies. So all cookies. You can handle this by using Selenium WebDriver, or you can handle this by using a request also, or request.get. All cookies I'm storing in this variable. I'll print all cookies, right? So print of all cookies, right? So what is that? All cookies, right? All cookies. Let us execute this up to here. Yeah, it is passed, and you can see all cookies. So every cookie you can see here, right? Every cookie which you can see as a part of a response, right? So request cookies are cookie AEC, right? So cookie NID, is it? You can see here. Do you having that? So if it is not having, not a issue. So at this point of time, for this current session, since we are handling that with the request, right? You won't be able to see that. So fine. It is giving me other cookies, right? So this is another value. So let us see that here also. Go to here. So cookies and site data, 4 cookies in use. So let me select this. So cookies, you can see AEC and NID. These are the 2 cookies which are as a part of response. You are getting AEC and NIC. Observe here how beautiful it is giving me. Content, domain, path, sent for secure connections only. I'm able to see everything. No, not everything. Only few data I'm able to see. Sent for google.com. Right? So cookie validities. How beautifully I'm able to see that. It should also be here, right? You can see it here. It should also be here only. Let me search for AEC. No, there is no. Nothing is there here. Fine, that is not a problem. You can see here from the client itself, right? Cookie is sent from the client. So I'm able to see from the client only. So that is good. So if you are using Selenium WebDriver, you can handle this from the UI only, but we can also have some simple operations from the backend. You can get all the cookies. So in this cookie, you have a specific cookie which is AEC in response.cookies, right? In cookies. So what I will do, I'll try to check whether you have a specific cookie in this cookies or not. So how you can, so asset AEC, AEC in all cookies, in all cookies, because I'm capturing all the cookies in this variable, all cookies in cookies, right? In all cookies. So if it is not there, if it is not there, you can print some assertion message at the time of raising an assertion. So AEC not found. AEC not found. Good. By God's grace, I have this AEC. I will also check whether this value of this AEC, which is a key and value, is not an empty thing or not, is not an none or not. So how you can do that? You are first checking whether you have AVC or not, AEC. From this all cookies, you need to get this key value. All cookies is nothing but a dictionary, right? So it is nothing but a dictionary. From the dictionary, how you can get a specific value of a key? Specify the key in the dictionary, right? So observe here, asset, 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 all cookies, asset, all cookies, dot get I'm using. You can use get, you can use a square braces, anything you can use, it's up to you. So AEC, you are checking whether it is not empty or not, is not none, is not none, right? Is not none. If it is, you can raise an assertion with this message. So AEC is none. All right, some simple assertions you are trying to do, right? So you can also extract a specific cookie value also, right? So this is how you are doing some simple assertion, asset cookie, and check if it is not none, right? This is one operation which you are doing. So capture all the cookies. This is another assertion. This is another operation. So capture all cookies, right? Another operation. So extract a specific cookie. Extract a specific cookie. So how you can extract the same code, right? So you can store it in some variable. So cookie value, step by step you need to write. So all cookies, from that you are extracting a specific cookie value and you can print that. So print of cookie value, right? So cookie value. So I'll try to use this inside quotes comma cookie value, cookie value. That's it. You're extracting a specific cookie. Suppose if you want to iterate through each and every cookie and if you want to print the data also, you can also do that. So what I will do, since cookies are dictionaries, key value pairs, I'll try to use for loop, right? So iterate through each and every cookie and print another operation it is. So what I'll do, I'll try to get all the cookies. Good. By using response.cookies, I'm storing in this variable. It is a dictionary. To get key and value in the form of a tuple in the dictionary, what method I can call? So dot items, dot items. If you call dot keys, it will only return the keys of dictionary. If you use dot values, it will only return the values of this dictionary. But I want both because I'm accessing. So what key have what value or what value is assigned to what key to check that. So I'll be using simple for loop. For key comma value in all cookies dot items, all cookies dot items. So print separately, right? So cookie and value. That's it. Getting the cookie, printing that value separately you are getting. Or instead of that, you can access all the cookies in one single shot. You can also print. This is what a refined way, right? So observe here. Let us execute this one more time. Yes. Now you can see one by one cookie it is printing. So cookie value it is for a specific cookie. Extracting all the cookies, printing all the cookies, doing assertion, getting the cookie value AAC. AAC cookie value is this. Is it right? So the same I'm able to print it here. After that, I'm accessing each and every cookie with a key and value pair. So this is key value. Only two cookies you have at this point of time. So those two has been accessed successfully. This is how we can try to work with response cookies. Like this, we'll also see another important thing, which is response headers, right? So as a part of response, you'll try to see the headers also, right? So you can see when I try to send this, let's suppose it is getting internal server error, not a problem. You can see in the headers, you are able to get this key and value pairs, which are headers as well, right? So we will try to have some simple operation on these headers, response headers, right? So I'll create one more module, test underscore handle response headers, right? So very important it is. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Import request, right? I'll try to create a class. Sorry, test headers. So inside this class, sorry guys, I'll try to define a method test underscore headers in response. Some simple method I'm creating, right? So I'll use the same URL, the same request, right? So get request. I'll assert the status code. I'll capture all the headers. The same code I'm using it here, right? So what I will do first, I'll try to capture all the headers. Is it right? In the response only, you'll have all the headers. Capture all headers. Headers in the sense response headers. So response dot headers. You can see headers is what a function. You can just get that. Right? So headers are also key value pairs, which are nothing but a dictionary. So I'll try to store it in some variable. All headers. I'll try to print them also. Print off all headers. Right? Comma all headers. That's it. So let us execute this up to here. Yes, it is passed, and you can see lot of headers are there, guys. Lot of headers, response headers. Date, you have expires, you have catch control. Is it right? Let us see one more time. Try to go to this network. Inspecting that. Somewhere you'll be having Google. Yes, this is Google, and you can scroll down. So these are response headers, right? Response headers. You'll also see date. Yes, you can see date, expires. Is it right? So catch control. Do you have that? So catch a control, private, max is 0. Is it right? I'm able to see that everything, content type, HTML, content security policy only, right? A server, right? Content encoding. So every detail I'm able to see here. Domain, google.com, right? So every information I'm able to see here. So suppose if you want to extract a specific cookie, specific header, right? Since we are talking about headers, specific headers, what you can do, since it is a dictionary, is it right? Observe here, curly braces. Inside curly braces, I'm having key and value, key and value, key and value. How you can extract? By using simple syntax. All headers, I'll try to extract for your information. So extract a specific header. There are multiple ways. I'll use this. So all headers of, I'll try to specify the date which is the name of the key, and I'll try to print. So print of date header value, date header value, some simple message I'm trying to have so that you can understand this. Right, let us execute this one more time. Extracting a specific header value. You can scroll down, you can say date header value. So this is what a date key value it is. Is it right? You can see, yes, the same, I'm able to get it here. If you have dictionary, you can kick the dictionary like anyway. If you have the proper base in dictionary in Python, you can also do some simple assertions. Assertions, I have already kept it here. So response, nothing but res. Instead of response, I'm storing inside a variable, right? So res. You can try to keep a proper name, or you can have some simple short name, right? So response dot status code. If it is not equal to 200, wrong status. We have text slash HTML in content type. Is it right? So observe here. Content type is what a header, response header. It is having test slash HTML. So I'm checking that. So content encoding is not none. Content encoding is equal to gzip. Is it right? So content encoding. You can scroll somewhere and you can see, yeah, content encoding is what a key. You are checking whether it is not none, whether it is equal to zip or not. X frame options. This is another key. X frame options. Same origin. Server, you have another key, right? You can see here server somewhere here. Set cookie. Yeah, server GWS. These are some simple assertions, right? You can extract a specific value of a key. You can do some simple assertions. So let us execute this one more time. Yes, this is also executing perfectly. So this is how you need to handle cookies and headers, which are as a part of response. At the time of sending a request, you can explicitly define the headers and cookies also if it is required. But most of the times we'll try to handle this response cookies and headers. And we have also seen this file upload and file download scenarios.